888.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool.
Welcome back to the famous old York Hall, where Finland have booked their place in the semi-finals. Coming up now, it's Holland versus Japan. Over to your commentators, Jim White and Phil Yates.
Tony, thank you very much indeed. Really good guys, these two, the Dutch. They were saying they were underachievers in the World Cup of Pool. I would agree with that. They're in their second ever quarter-final. They want to go one step beyond.
This is going to be a very difficult match too. Again, what I like about both sides is they have a lot of team chemistry. They play at the same speed. And Japan, obviously with their big win over Team USA yesterday.
First rack, race to 9, winner breaks. Japan to break.
So the first break-off will be conducted by Lo Li Wen.
Good break. One down, got a shot at the 2. 3's in the open. Dream start. And it's Naoki Oi at the table now.
Unlike the Dutch, they have been to a World Cup semi-final. It was Oi and Satoshi Kawabata.
Nice angle on this too. Just softly screw this off the right-hand cushion. It's a great way to start. You get out there, you know your nerves are a little jittery in the opening few racks, and a chance to settle in with the conditions, the speed of the table, the atmosphere, everything combining to make things just a little tricky in the early going.
Oi from Osaka, the man at the table, based in Yokohama. And it looks as though, Jim, they're taking a bullet train to a 1-0 lead.
If there's a team here, well, that's a very, very weak positional effort from Lo Li Wen there, Phil. Big mistake. That was quite elementary position too from the 7. Can Oi dig him out? What a let-off. Looked certain to be 1-0 to Japan.
Yes, that bullet train has just been shunted into the sidings.
Down goes the 9. For Holland, it's 1-0 to the Dutch. They'll take that Christmas present. Shocking turn of events, though. Just a very lax. He really hit the 7 into the far right-hand side of the pocket as he looked. If it had gone into the center, he'd have been fine. But watch this. He didn't really hit it into the center of the pocket, but that wasn't anywhere near where he needed to be with the cue ball.
Cue ball and object ball close together. Try the double, always going towards that far jaw. Well, the number of 9 balls we've seen missed in the tournament, Jim, I think you could count on one hand. But really, we can't blame Oy there. That was more down to his partner.
I agree. But nobody has been smiling more in this arena than those two. They're going to have to try and remember what got them here. Our second quarter final.
Okay, rack 2, Holland to break, leading 1 rack to 0.
Already Finland in the wings awaiting the winner of this match. Rack number 2 in the race to 9 now. That's a good break. But nothing on the 1, so it's going to be a push out for Holland.
Push out call.
During their pre-match interview, Nick Vandenberg was saying that he's got a very different style to that of Niels Fine. Fine, the more aggressive of the two. Vandenberg, the thinker. And he plays very methodically, doesn't he?
Well, they've known each other since kids. And, you know, for me, Phil, I've seen these guys play all over the world. I think they've got very similar styles. They play at a similar speed. I mean, I might just give Niels the nod in terms of being a little bit more aggressive, but only marginally.
I think Vandenberg is one of those players who is assisted by the shot clock and makes the decision for him.
Now they're being brought back. So Nick's got to be a little careful here. And I can only see a thin cut on the 1 to cut it to the left-hand cushion, drop it on the top cushion as we look. Got to be careful. Oh, he's cut it too thick. He's cut it too thick. That was always going to be the danger and the chance for Japan.
The only problem with the pot on the 1 ball is actually reaching it. Oy just about getting over the table. Good job, he's quite thin.
Leaving a nice angle for his partner here on the 2. Not straightforward position.
Extension call.
I've seen these two around the arena practicing and watching a lot of the matches. I'm not too sure if the only word that Lo Li Wen knows in English is extension.
Just keeping it simple, avoiding the orange 5 ball. Looks like 1-1, Jim, although that said, we thought it was going to be 1-0 Japan and they didn't quite complete the task.
Yeah, sometimes that can wake you up though, Phil. Such a simple mistake. You guard against it in the future now. But you certainly can't expect them failing here. Good shot from Roy there. The 30-year-old passes the baton over to the elder statesman of 5 years. Lo Li Wen. This is another pair that very accomplished, very competent, and not a lot of chat about them being able to win the event, but trust me, they can.
Well, unlike the opening rack, this 9-ball will not go astray.
And it doesn't. 1-1 here at your call. Japan has won the break back, and no one more interested than those two in the middle of our picture. Mäkinen on the left, Immonen on the right. Team Finland awaiting the winners here.
Yes, they've seen Oi and Lo Li Wen play all over the world, but an extra spying mission does no harm whatsoever. And of course the Finns know the game of Vandenberg and Fine inside out.
Yeah, and vice versa. So if it was to be a Finland-Holland matchup in the semifinals, it would almost be like a reunion of sorts. But
Rack 3, Japan to break. 1-1.
the wall in the path of the Holland pair right here. Good break. Cue ball running around the table. Coming back to try to align itself on that blue 2. The one in the middle of the table. If it goes, it's very close as to whether it goes by the ball into the top corner pocket. Certainly our overhead camera doesn't look like it does, and doesn't look like the 2 goes by the 9 into the other corner either, Phil. So going to be a little work to do here no matter what.
You're right, Jim, the 5 is definitely intervening, and we know that because of the hesitation. It's a real shame from a Japanese perspective because the balls have otherwise broken well.
Yeah, wide open, and a very good break by Naoki Oi.
There might, you know, just about be room past the 5, but boy, is that tight. Certainly not a full pocket, nowhere near.
What a shot. Well, the way that he's played this, he knew he was bringing the cue ball back over to this side of the table, so now I'm wondering whether the 2 goes by the 9. It obviously offers a combination. Oh, it flies in.
Jim, when you play a pot and a position like the Japanese did off the 1 ball, you deserve to win a rack.
Well, they certainly don't seem too deterred by how they lost the opening rack, but they're in prime position to win this 3rd one.
the continental composition of the quarterfinals. 5 European teams, 3 Asian teams. None from North America, Jim. Already 1 European side in the semi-finals. These Asians hoping to balance the ledger.
Well, there's no question that the balance of power has shifted in the game of pool. Europe, I think it was just last year, had all the world champions. And we know how strong the game is in Asia. Japan looking to make a statement here. It's a 2-1 lead over Holland.
QtrFinal.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool. QtrFinal.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool.
It's been a great day for the defending champions at the 888.com World Cup of Pool here at the York Hall in Bethnal Green. Finland are through to the semi-finals, the first team through with a 9-4 win over England B. Now Japan are taking on Holland. Japan lead 2-1. Tonight at 6 o'clock, live on Sky Sports 4, Hungary, Philippines, and then Chinese Taipei against England A.
Q rack 4, Japan 3, leading 2 racks to 1.
And one would naturally assume, Phil, that with the longer races now in the quarterfinals, the race to 9 as opposed to 7 in the 2 preceding rounds, you would get a more justified result. But that was a comprehensive win by Finland over England B earlier. Well, this is a good break. Legal. and a chance to control the table, dictate proceedings here. One of the last balls rolling, finding gravity into that corner pocket. They really do keep the game simple, the Japanese side. Not a ton of flair. They just get down, and as we've noted throughout the week, you know, they just grin from ear to ear, enjoy themselves, and they're having fun out there.
You know as well as I do, Jim, certainly in snooker sometimes you see players grinning at the table, and it's rather false. No names. But with these two, you know, it's genuine.
Kicking off the bottom cushion. That was a good defensive shot from Oy, forcing Vandenberg into not a tough hit, but no guarantees to get it safe. Well, he's got it safe, but again, great chance for Japan to put Holland in the weeds.
And again, precisely what you said before, Jim. Simple, but effective.
Niels has to go back for the jump cue. He's going to have to go over the edge of the 3 ball. I'm going to have to trust to luck a little here. It's not quite there. He was willing that cue ball to run on another inch. But you can see Naoki Oi. He does enjoy himself.
Mark Williams is a great one for this, making his opponents believe he can't pot a ball when in fact he can. Oh, but the Japanese can't pot the 2, not directly anyway.
That was an unexpected accident. Boy, didn't intend the cue ball cannoning into anything there. Gonna have to dig his partner out now. Lo Li Wen. That's what faces him. Let's see if we hear that one word he knows in English again.
I suppose it would be useful if you went to the visa office, you could use it there. Extension. Yeah, you can stay for another 3 months.
Our shot.
Well, this is just the sort of opportunity that Holland needed. Just trailing by the odd racket 2-1 with ball in hand. Everything's in the open. Didn't have a ton of room from error there. And with the foul, ball in hand. The incoming team gets to place that cue ball anywhere on the table they desire. And with the balls spread such as they are here, you really have to expect a clearance. I know they do. Just looking where he can position the cue ball for the 6. The 7, clear path to the top right corner as we look. He's got to be a little careful. Very nice touch. Beautifully controlled. Now Niels can float the 6 into the side pocket, and the natural path of the cue ball will drop onto the 7.
Well, so far, early days, yes, but the progression of the match is pretty much how we expected it to be. Nothing to choose between them.
So it looks like Holland will break in rack number 5. And again, the balance shifting back into their favor. And it's still and always has been about the break. The team that can master that break. Nick Vandenberg, Niels Fyen. All that wealth of experience playing in all those European Tour events, all the Mosconi Cups they've represented Europe in. Team play is far from a foreigner to these guys.
Well, Vandenberg, he's been a member of 6 Mosconi Cup teams, 7 times a European champion in various disciplines, former runner-up in the World 8-Ball Championship. Niels Fyen, well, he's won Euro Tour tournaments. He's been ranked number 1 in Europe. He's been on a winning Mosconi Cup team. He's won the Beijing Open 9-ball. World Straight Ball champion. He won the Derby City Classic 9-ball championship as well, which is one of the great pool festivals on the calendar every year.
Yes, a war of attrition, that event. Goes all day, all night. Winding it up. Rack number 5. Don't know if that's a legal break. Did that 7 travel far enough? It must have.
Well, Michaela Tabb was explaining that rule to me earlier in this week, and she was saying that basically, if a ball is on the line, that's okay.
Which is the case here, because the 7 was the 3rd ball. The break rule here, 3 balls have to pass the head string. You can see it just on the head string. Every ball pocketed counts as a ball having passed the head string. So 2 balls through the head string and 1 ball pocketed, perfectly legal. And a wide open look at the 2.
Niels Fyen is a pronounced right-eyed sighter. His right eye is very much the master eye, and that's why the cue is over on that side of the face.
Yes, very much like Earl Strickland, actually, Phil. Very similar. Great American player, well known all around the world. Just pinching the pocket slightly to hold for position on the 4. But Nick had to be relieved to see that one go, because there were anxious moments.
These players have a 6th sense. As soon as Vandenberg made contact with the 3, he was worried. It caught an awful lot of cushion, but went in. 5 ball, much cleaner.
Both players cite the great Efren Batarez as their favorite pool player. Vandenberg, in fact, says this is his favorite venue to play pool. Well, this is the first time it's hosted the 888.com World Cup of Pool, so you know that experience has been based on his Moscone Cup experiences.
Well, it's got everything that a pool venue needs. Intimate and atmospheric.
And back in front, 3-2 to Holland. 2 racks in a row, a break and run out that time from Holland. They've been at a premium here on day 5. But the race to 9, they came in as slight favorites, and to this point in the match, living up to that advanced billing.
Finland already through. They beat England B 9-4. I was impressed by the way they played and the way they gelled as well. The team chemistry amongst the Finns is flawless at the moment. Holland 3, Japan 2, we know that. Tonight at 6 o'clock on Sky Sports 4 Live, it's Hungary against the Philippines. Can the Hungarians continue their giant-killing run? And then finally the nightcap, it's Chinese Taipei against England A. Darren Appleton, one of the giants of the sport, playing alongside his friend Carl Boyes, a former World 8-ball champion. Formidable.
Yeah, we can't wait for that match to close things out here in the quarters. Right now, Holland looking to book their place. Well, that's going to be an illegal break. And a chance at the 2 for Japan. Didn't look like he hit that with any conviction. Niels can really crunch the break. And he exercised a little more control with that one. Just almost like a dead hit.
Yes, the one was pocketed, the 6 across the head string, but nothing else.
When the balls aren't touching following the break, it's so important. In America, they call it a slug rack. You get that dead hit and the balls just don't respond. Power from the cue ball isn't imparted. But this a great chance for Japan again. These guys just exchanging body blows.
So I suppose if you get a whole collection of slug racks, it's a slug fest. Jim speechless.
Extension call.
Well, I was waiting to hear Lo Li Wen, because the clock was winding down. 35-second shot clock, and each team allowed 1 35-second extension per rack. And it was important to get the angle there. He's going to be able to bring the cue ball towards the 5 now in pocketing the 4. 5 looks like it goes to the right side pocket. It certainly goes to the bottom corner. And he's going to the side. Again, keeping it very simple and not asking that cue ball to do too much.
Yes, right hand side of the white, widen the angle off the first cushion.
And perfect angle to take the cue ball up for the 6-2. When you've got that cue ball on a string, Phil, you really do make this game look easy.
And right now, coming up to the conclusion of rack number 6, we're no wiser as to who's going to win than we were at the start.
No, but that wasn't the best positional shot. You know, a little work to do now for Oy. Had to leave the thinnish cut down the cushion. And again, similar storyline for Lo Li Wen. He's got more angle than he would ideally want to hold for position on the 9. Just a little extra care going into this. What a shot. What a shot.
Naoki Oi, what a showman. Yes. In goes the 9, and that means we're all tied up again. Nothing to choose between these two fine teams. 3-3.
.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool. .com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool.
It's a race to 9 in the quarterfinals of this 888.com World Cup of Pool. Holland and Japan at the moment tied at 3. Finland already through, feet up metaphorically. They've beaten England 9-4. If that isn't a confidence boost, I don't know what is. At 6 o'clock this evening, the remaining 2 quarterfinals will be coming your way live on Sky Sports 4. Hungary against Philippines, Chinese Taipei against the only remaining England side now in the tournament.
Rack 7, Japan to break, 3-3.
And some great positional shots on display here from Team Japan. Looking very comfortable out there and solid. And to this point in the match, Phil, no clear-cut favorite. Ball down, legal break, shot on the 1. It certainly doesn't look like either Japan or Holland are having the same problems that Finland and England, the B team, had, because there were so many dry breaks in that match. Well, not so here. Now, if he banks this, it'll have better positional value. Try and bank it into the bottom right corner as we look. Be able to hold for position to the 2 on the same side of the table. And he does have the safety option if he doesn't like the bank. Thin cut it on the bottom side. And a good shot. Good containing shot. The secret of success is really playing within yourself. You know, not trying to ask yourself to do more than you're really capable of. I always like the phrase, Phil, getting out of your own way. Not bad. But again, Japan with the initiative here, and another good safety opportunity, and there it is. And this one considerably tougher to hit.
Yes, as soon as the 1 stopped in such close proximity to the green 6, you knew it was trouble in store for Holland.
Yeah, so difficult. He's just going to try and tie up 2 balls. Roll the 8 onto the 2.
Oh, shot.
That's just how tough it was, and didn't get there. He still left that 2 in the open. But that's just how tough the hit was there.
Extension call.
Still a problem though with the 4. The 4 and the 5, the bottom of your picture there. The 4 doesn't pass the 5 into the corner or into the other corner due to the 9, but there is a 4-5 combination on offer. Well, they've already got 1 foul, and the way they're placing the cue ball here, it almost looks like he wants to roll the cue ball up to the 9. Unless does this 1 pass the 6 into the corner? No, oh, this is a horrible shot. That might be the worst shot you're going to see from him all week. Inexcusable mistake.
Well, if there was a shot for the worst shot of the tournament, I think that would be a candidate together with Ruslan Chinnakov's missed 1 ball with a ball in hand.
Yeah, I forgot about that one, Phil. That one's definitely on my ballot. what a massive let off. And look at this, they've given it right back. Oh. But I still think it's a bad shot by Vandenberg. Is he left enough room to make the 2? There's no reason to be anywhere near that side pocket. And still that 4-5 combination, that's really the only aggressive option that I can see. And that's assuming Niels can see enough of the 2.
Call.
This is the big shot in the rack. Holland's quite happy they've got a chance to go at it. But it looks like it's dead in. He almost has to play the 4 as though the 5 isn't even there, just into the pocket. But there's a lot of room between these two. I'd say about a foot there, and a lot can go wrong.
Well, Lowly Wen's attempt at the snooker was so appalling. It was one of those situations where you virtually knew it was going to be punished, because that's the way these things tend to work. He went back to his seat rather sheepishly with every justification.
Nice little controlled shot from Niels there. And again, just traveling a little further than he wanted. Just not quite looking as settled as what we've seen him in the past, Nick Vandenberg, yet, Phil. And yet it's still a 3-3 score, and Holland every chance to go 4-3 ahead, and Vandenberg has looked a little edgy for me.
Yes, Holland led 1-0 and 3-2. 4-3 beckoning.
Mind you, Japan can look the same way. They've played a couple very lax shots, even in the first rack that they gave away. And the poor shot that Lowly Wen played here, and there are only going to be 1 rack adrift. So if you want to dwell on the positives for them, that would be it. Thumps the 9 into the heart of the corner pocket. The Terminator and his partner 4-3 in front, and a couple eye drops for Lowly Wen, 35 years of age. Former US Open 10-ball runner-up. Well traveled.
Yes, and if you look at his CV, it makes that attempted snooker all the more shocking. It was just an extraordinary blunder.
And especially given that they could have attacked. And I'm still shaking my head why they didn't knock the 1 in. The 2 was obviously available because Holland potted it.
Yes, one was a matter of choice, the other one was a matter of execution, and the latter, well, Lowly Wen. He will not play, as Jim said, a worse shot in the entire tournament, maybe in 2013.
And you knew that they played the shot in agreement as well, Phil. That's equally surprising. But the 4-3 lead to Holland, and with the break.
2 rack 8, Holland to break, leading 4 racks to 3.
And Holland, again, had the benefit, as did Japan, of seeing the first quarterfinal out here, where the breaking seemed to be a real problem. So they've gone over to the other side of the table, and Vandenberg looking for a ball down here. Well, made the 1 and the 2. And the 3 just at the far end of the table. Yeah, it looks like a little too thin for Niels to try and knock it in, but is there enough sticking out where he can try and get that cue ball behind cover? No, he hasn't hit it hard enough. Again, not a very good defensive effort. No, we're in the 8th rack. For me, just some nervy mistakes from both sides.
Spot on, it's tentative, isn't it?
Possibility here. He's got the 3 in the corner, obviously, but there's also a 3-8 combination into the side pocket. Oh, what a shot. What a great shot from the APO there. He's got that body movement after he delivers the cue, but you can see it all comes after. And it just appears like neither one of these teams wants to run away with this one. They both had the opportunities.
And evidence of that, there's only been 1 rack in it up to now. No one's going to a 2-rack advantage as of yet. And in that, the pattern of this quarter-final very different to the pattern of the first.
Got to come down and attack the 7 from below, because it doesn't go by the 9. And this is nice. Nicely judged.
Running side to make the pot on the 8 as simple as possible. Better rack from Lo Li Wen, better rack from Japan in general. All square again, these two can't be separated, can they? Holland 4, Japan 4. We thought it would be a keenly contested affair, and we've been proved correct.
Living all up to the advance hype. Lo Li Wen's got his break cue out. But Phil, the way this is going, neither team is stringing anything together. Just hand in hand all the way down the line. Nick Vandenberg, Niels Feyen, Team Holland. Edge in experience, edge in team play, edge in understanding and being familiar with the venue. Doesn't really count for much, does it?
Rack 9, Japan's break, 4-4.
Japan seeking their second semi-final place in the World Cup of Pool over the years. Holland hoping for their debut.
Very good break. 2 balls pocketed. He's got a shot at the 2. The 3 is near the opposite corner pocket. Not an easy shot on the 2. And the cue ball is definitely going to be contacting that color next to it. They're all moving. Now, what kind of a shot do you have to come with now? Worth another look, though. Four into the corner. Got the 9 moving, and now he's going to be cueing right over the 6, and he's got to get from the 3 to the 6. If he knocks this one in and pulls that cue ball back, this will be the shot of the match. These are the sort of shots that Earl Strickland would be able to play, Phil, and make him look easy. Not quite so easy for Lo Li Wen.
And the 9 ball here, not only is it the target, it's also the obstacle. The targets are potted to the end of the rack, the obstacle on the shot. The 6 is just about sticking out marginally.
Caught it too thin. He wanted to try and knock it over to the left-hand side and swing the cue ball around, hopefully to try and find cover as well. Just when it looks like they can step on the gas, down to Holland. And Phil, you've been covering Q Sports for an awful long time. So often, when you get one side struggling, the other really starts to run away and hide. That's just not happening here with either team. We've seen signs where both teams are fighting it. And the other just hasn't seemed to take the initiative and run away.
Looks like, though, for the 4th time in the match, Holland are going to take the lead. There you see a good view of the very wide stance of Niels Fine.
Just gathering his concentration and focus. Right into the middle of the pocket. That's what Holland wanted. 5-4 their lead. It's a race to 9 and 1 rack clear over Japan.
QtrFinal.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool. 888.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool.
Great to have you back here at the York Hall. It's day 5, quarterfinal day, and there's your draw. Finland already through to the semis, the #1 seeds, the defending champions, with a resounding victory over England B. We're in the throes of the second quarterfinal. Holland enjoying a 5-4 lead over Japan. Yet to come, Hungary versus the heavily favored Philippine side. Chinese Taipei, a powerhouse in the world of pool, up against the hopes of England, the A-team. Darren Appleton, Carl Boyce carrying the flag alone now. And Niels Fayen and his partner Vandenberg here, Phil. And best break by far of the match for them.
Yes, I was just about to say that their goal, their immediate goal here, is to try and establish a 2-rack lead for the first time, and after this break, on the nose it was. They've got every chance to do so.
And no team has been 2 racks in front yet. The first opportunity falls to Holland. Gilt-edged opportunity, it has to be said.
Of course, if Holland do win, they play Finland in the semi-finals, which naturally follows we are guaranteed at least 1 European finalist. No surprise there, though.
But what a statement Finland are making. As the holders, they want to make sure that hardware stays in their living rooms for another year.
Seven previous stagings of the World Cup of Pool, and we've had at least 1 European finalist in 5 of them. Missed out in the inaugural year in Newport in Wales in 2006 when Efren Reyes and Francisco Bustamante beat Strickland and Morris from the USA.
Yeah, in fact, Efren and Francisco have won this event on 2 occasions. And they're not representing the Philippines here this year. Oh, what a powerhouse 2 came over to take their place. Dennis Orcolio and Levan Corteza. They're going to take some beating. We'll see them later tonight.
Yes, Orcolio and Gomez played for Philippines in the only other final where the European team wasn't represented. That's when Lee Hee-wen and Fu Jiangbo went for China in 2010 in the Philippines.
Nice calm waters here for Vandenberg and his partner. These guys know how to win. Respected competitors. And everybody looks for their names in the draw in the Euro Tour events.
There it is, very simple rack, great break. Holland had a simple run out from there. And for the first time, there's a 2-rack gap. Holland 6, Japan 4.
A lot more settled in their chairs. There will be no celebration. There's a long ways to go in this one. It's a race to 9. And you just get the feeling that Japan's got a few more tricks up their sleeves.
Well, a total of 31 matches in this tournament. Only 7 of them remain. We're down to the quarter-final stage. Finland must have been delighted not just with the result against England B, but also the quality of their performance. They're through. They've been watching this match a little earlier on. I think they've realised that they've got no real cause for concern. They know about the players concerned and the way they're playing. They'll be fancying the job.
Yeah, they realised it was dinner time, Phil. But how impressive have Finland been so far. El Nino. A familiar face. Ball into the side. And just a legal break. The 7 getting to the line, and with 2 balls down, you can see just over the head string, making it illegal. But just touching the head string, Phil, is all that's required.
Yes, if any part of the ball is touching the head string, that counts.
And 3 obviously passes the 7 into the corner, so once again, the opportunity presents itself for Holland. Put a little bit more distance between themselves and Japan. Though with the winner break format, no lead is secure. We saw Finland come back from a 6-4 deficit against Korea.
Yes, in England last night, England A were 5-2 down to Italy in 1-7-5, so comebacks have occurred. Not on a regular basis, one has to say, in this tournament. Normally the front runners seal the deal, but 7-4 would not be terminal.
Nice speed and perfect angle. Can just take this off the side cushion again. The 6-9 does look like a combination, but there's no point. He's got the perfect angle on the 5 to be able to drop onto the 6 to the bottom left. Looks enticing, but there's nothing that should stop Holland progressing here. A little heavier than he would have liked, and you saw him look away as soon as he hit that. It was about a foot harder than he wanted. Oh. Well, I'm not sure who to blame with that one. It was a very bad positional shot from Vandenberg, but you couldn't have expected Niels to miss that 6 regardless. I think they're going to share it, Phil.
Yes, but for me it's 70-30. The blame on that man.
Extension call.
Wow, should have been 7-4, and they know it. Now, how big that miss may be in the final outcome, only time will tell. But 7-4 in breaking, I wouldn't have given Japan much chance.
Well, the cue ball close to the side cushion, but it would be a standard if Oy didn't deposit this.
Yeah, what a turnaround, Phil. And we've talked about turning points in matches. We might have just witnessed one. But this is certainly one that got away for Holland. 6-5 still in their favor, but it's Japan with the break. Nick Vandenberg certainly has to feel responsible, even though, as you said, Phil, it was Niels that missed the shot, but I don't need to tell you what he's thinking about.
Yes, it isn't just the loss of the rack, and that's bad enough in itself. It's also the loss of break and the loss of self-belief, collective self-belief.
Well, as soon as he hit the shot, this one here, he knew it was too hard. He looked up, looked away, but again, not the sort of shot you'd expect Niels Fyen to miss.
Hit that one grossly thick.
Rack 12, Japan to break, trailing 5 racks to 6.
A 6-5 deficit, welcoming Japan in the form of Naoki Oi. Ooh, he almost made the 9 in the side. It's a good break. Got a shot at the 1. Not going to be easy though. Not where the 2's located.
No doubt, though, the Japanese re-energized.
Yeah, that's all he could do. Just hold there. It's a thin cut on the 2, the 3 near the top right corner. Doesn't want to hit anything. If he makes this 2, he wants to avoid contacting any other balls. No, he's not even trying. And not the best safety in the world.
Set the clock, please.
As yet, no team can get any kind of sustained flow. We thought it was going to happen for Holland in the previous rack. They erred. Everything difficult to obtain for both.
He's trying to get the cue ball behind the 3. And it's close. Maybe just have to jump over the edge of the 3 here. Well, doesn't have to jump over it at all. This is clear, but it's a tough shot. And you see Lo Li Wen walking around the table, just loosening up, getting those shoulders loose and swinging his arms. You sit in that chair for any length of time, you can tighten up. This is a big shot. If he decides to take this on, and no reason why he wouldn't, the safety isn't easy. So if you're going to go down, you might as well go down with guns blazing.
Well, he was trying to get the shoulders loose, but on the shot itself, they couldn't have been tighter.
Yeah, it was far from easy though, Phil, in fairness. But this is just one of those matches that nothing looks easy enough.
Yes, the 2 was a horrible shot, wasn't it, for Japanese? Not so for Holland. And now, well, they should have won the previous rack, they didn't. This is another golden opportunity.
And if they fail here, you really can't fancy their chances. The mental mountain that would be in front of them would just be too much. So they have to secure this rack just to erase the memory of the last. Pulling back. Just slightly overdrawn.
Avoiding the 8 ball was what he wanted and achieved.
Perfect angle on the 8. No Li Wen, I think, his turn to meditate and try and get back into the moment.
This sitting 9 ball. This goes in. Holland will be 2 clear and 2 away.
And down it goes. So that 2-rack advantage confirmed here in London. Holland with a 7-5 lead over Japan. More action coming your way following a short break.
QtrFinal.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool. 888.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool.
It's a 2-rack lead for Holland right now, 7-5 over Japan, bidding for a place to join the holders Finland in the semifinals. Still to come this evening, Hungary versus the Philippines, Chinese Taipei versus England A. And I can tell you, if it was a cheerleading contest, Japan would win with flying colors. Look at him trying to get the fans going. And just during that commercial break, Phil, he was cheerleading, wasn't he? He was trying to get everybody up off their seats. You got to love the attitude and the enthusiasm brought to the table by Mayuki Oi.
Holland to break.
Yes, originally he said, come on, Japan, and then when he saw the Dutch walking back in, he thought, well, I'll balance it up, and said, come on, Holland. Very sporting of him.
One ball down, it's a legal break. And a chance at the 2, the 3's in the open. A very presentable table here as far as Holland is concerned. All that preparation on the practice table leading up. Nothing quite settles you, though, for the pressure that these major events offer. At the end of the day, you've really got to be able to control that little guy inside, and all that pressure comes from within. Oh, he missed it. And Vandenberg, I said at the very start of this event, I said it at the very start of this match, sorry, that Vandenberg for me just didn't look settled. He didn't look like he's quite found that gear, that focus.
So 2 racks to go. Fine missed the 6. There, the 2 goes astray.
Extension call.
Mistakes that more often than not turn out to be costly.
And should be costly, Phil. They'd be the first to tell you. But not the sort of shots that you expect to see missed from Nick Vandenberg. Mayuki Oi knew that was an opportunity. When you get the miss from your opponents and you don't jump on it, overcut it. In fairness, that was a much tougher shot than Vandenberg's, but his cue bore the brunt of that miss.
Extension call.
Dangerous occupation, that. Breaking your cue in the middle of the match is not recommended.
This is going to be a tricky shot. Playing this right up the left-hand cushion. Nice angle on the 4. Wasn't the cleanest of shots from Vandenberg, but it went in. Now Niels is going to have to kill the cue ball a little bit here. Felix to play this 4 into the side, which I think is going to be the favorite. That's not ideal. And again, simply because of Vandenberg's shot leaving him a little too much angle. And the reason it's not ideal, it's a thin cut on the 5 and the 6 is at the same end of the table. So you've either got to run up and all the way back down or park the cue ball right there and play safe. So it's option A, and boy, that's a terrific effort.
And drop the cue ball on a sixpence.
Phil, that will do his confidence the world of good. Nick Vandenberg needed a shot like that. Another good shot from Niels, just coming below the 9. This is going to get them to the hill. One more rack required, 8-5. The first 3 rack advantage, and Naoki Oi, he knows he had the chance in this one. And his partner pats him on the shoulder.
So the 2 balls saw 2 misses. This one was the worst because it was the simplest shot. A little more difficult for the Japanese, and that was overcut as well. Naoki Oi, when the ball was going towards the pocket, realised he'd made a costly blunder, and the cue was driven into the carpet.
Evidence that the pressure that the 888.com World Cup of Pool carries definitely on display here, and has been throughout the match.
So one good break, and it could be the key to the door to the semi-finals.
Rack 14, Holland to break, leading 8 racks to 5.
Look at those eyes, back and forth between the cue ball and the 1.
House shot.
Well, it could have been worse. But with all that preparation, all that lead up, that cue ball drawn straight into the side pocket. Situations like this, 4 racks required by Japan. They run the colors here, and they should. Who's to say they couldn't park Holland in their chairs and run out the match?
Well, that's the great beauty of the winner breaks format. You're never quite sure when a match is over. Large deficits can be erased.
Japan knows they can't afford any more easy misses, though. The angle, as Lilo Wen looks at this 3, though, the angle that he leaves his partner on the 4 will dictate what they do with the 5, because there is a 5-9 combination on offer. Just depends on the angle. Now it looks like he could thump this in and get over to the right-hand side. No, he's going to play for the combination. And he's laughing away. When doesn't he enjoy himself?
Extension call.
Extension asked for and granted. But missable. Some distance between the 5 and the 9, so you've got to be a little careful here.
Yes.
And to win back the break. 8-6 now. 3 remain. Japan need them all. 1 rack at a time.
Yes, this is the combination. In it goes. And maybe standing Japan in good stead is the fact they've already survived one deciding frame, one deciding rack finish against the USA in the last 16.
Vandenberg, it was his break that offered the chance to Japan. Not a lot of communication between these two pals.
The disposition of the two teams could not be any more contrasting. Holland glum, intense, serious faces. The Japanese haven't stopped talking and laughing.
Yeah, you wouldn't know which team was 8-6 in front, would you?
Listen, can we do it? Can we redo it? Yeah? What?
Well, Lo Li Wen has just asked for our referee Nigel Reese to rack the balls one more time. And being the gentleman that Nigel is, he complies. Both he and Michaela have done a terrific job here all week. Without doubt, 2 of the most respected officials on the planet.
Yes, neither of them frightened to make a controversial call, and when they do, it's amazing how often they've been proved correct.
Well, and their contributions so often go unheralded. That's just because they do their job so well. The biggest compliment you could give any official is you didn't know they were there.
Rack 15, Japan to break. Trailing 6 racks to 8.
Every break under the magnifying glass now. This is a good one. Did the 7 just slither in front of that 2? It may have. Well, the way he's up and at it, it must go.
And the gap found for the 3.
Extension call.
Just wants to be certain how to go through this rack. This is really the big shot from the 3 to the 4. And it looks like his only option is to take it around the angles and play the 4 to the same pocket, which means he's got to clear the 6 and the 8. This is nice. This is a great shot. And just knock this in and draw back about 5-6 inches, Phil. That'd be perfect.
Can't escape the feeling that the Japanese really do believe this one is there for the taking.
Well, the format lends itself to comebacks because the winner breaks. Once you secure the break, as we're looking at right here, and Japan is hoping, you don't ever have to let your opponents out of their chairs.
As soon as the cue ball entered the middle pocket on the scratch on Nick Vandenberg's break in the rack before this, you just wondered, is this going to be a twist in the tail? We're still wondering.
Yes, we are, but I mean, Holland can look back on a number of missed opportunities. That was the most recent. But this is going to be 8-7. And as you said, Phil, they survived one hill match already against Team USA. They're looking to try and survive another, but they're going to have to get there first. Still 8-7 to Holland.
One thing we haven't touched upon is the financial ramification. Losing quarterfinalists get $10,000 between them. If you get to the semi-finals, you're guaranteed $16,000, and of course, the jackpot, $60,000 divided between the two players if you are the champions.
That buys a few sakis back in Japan. Naoki Oi on the left, Lo Li Wen on the right. 5 years the difference between them. Oi being the younger at 30. But he's been around for a while. This is not his first dance
Rack 16,
in the World Cup of
Japan's
Pool.
break.
Normally
7 racks to
partnering
8.
Satoshi Kawabata. Now buckle in. Rack number 16. A chance for Holland. A legal break and a good one, but no shot at the one, so it's just going to be the push out.
Next pass. Forward, forward. Push out. Yeah, push out. Then if you push. Yeah. No. You broke. You push.
Okay.
So the push is going to be executed. I mean, what does it look like if you're Holland and you see these guys out there laughing? And because Holland, I haven't seen any smiles on their face, not since the introduction.
Stern.
Push out call.
Is that going to be a bad omen? Because the Americans were very serious as well, of course, sitting in that chair and watching the Japanese go through their antics.
Reset the clock, please.
You just can't see Holland taking this shot. You've almost got to bring Japan back.
Japan. Extension code.
Big moment in the match right here.
Yes, and their understandable level of indecision is reflected in the fact they've called their extension. So no leeway in terms of time for the rest of the rack for them.
Well, the double kiss was always a danger, but it hasn't worked out too bad. And kind of offered his hand to apologize. No real value in knocking this one ball in, even if it was available. Look where the 2 is on the right-hand side. And if you remember the push out executed by Japan, they're the ones that kind of put the 2 in jail over there, bumping the 6 nearest that blue 2. No, that's a good containing shot from Vandenberg, and look how close it is to the 9. Now that will be the concern for Japan. Got to hit this. Well, this might be the opportunity. If there's a possible 2-8 combination, they'll weigh up the variables here.
Keeping the door slammed.
Well, they're trying to get it in a position where they can get that 2 in the open. Getting the cue ball closer to the 2 certainly makes it a little riskier for Japan. And again, if they ever gave ball in hand, Holland would have a chance to seal it. Well, that's a good shot too, and that 2 is still not available. And that's assuming it doesn't go to the bottom right corner as we look. That's what Nick is just having a look at. I don't think, well, maybe. Maybe, if it isn't, certainly a good aggressive safety on offer for Niels. I think the safety might be the prudent choice anyway.
Either way, the Dutch very much in the ascendancy in this rack.
Mishit it. He released the cue. He just didn't play it with any conviction. He tried to kill the cue ball and hold it behind the 6, and he just let it go. That was along the lines of the very weak safety that we saw from Lo Li Wen with ball in hand very early in this match.
Given his Fines pedigree and experience, look at him, he looks shell-shocked by that. It was a rudimentary shot, and he played it so badly. Timed the shot awfully.
That's exactly what happened, Phil. He just totally mistimed it. Well, we're going to see another hill match for a place in the semifinals. This is going to be a very difficult one for Holland to swallow if they somehow contrive to lose this match.
Well, they might not lose the match, but surely they're going to lose this particular rack. Naoki Oi there, contemplating playing the behind the back shot like Mark Williams does in snooker. That would have been far too risky under any circumstances, let alone these. Holland led 8-5. They had the break in rack number 14. They scratched. Then in rack 16, Niels Fine played one of the worst safety shots of his career, and that's not exaggerating matters. Naoki Oi, ever the sportsman, and Lo Li Wen go over and shake hands. It started out as a race to 9, best of 17. Now it's sudden death.
A lot of sportsmanship out there, but a lot of competitive, fierce competitive nature as well. But I don't need to tell you which team feels the heat. And there's only one way to dispel it. They've got to get through. Holland have to win this last rack, or they will be kicking themselves all the way home. Much better known in this part of the world, but that counts for nothing now. And once again, a re-rack.
Yeah, just 8, 9. Yeah. Okay, last one, try.
So Nigel Reese just putting the triangle for the balls one more time, and the Japanese side applaud. And they hope for a chance. They'd like to have one very similar to the one they just had in the last rack they let go.
Looking for an omen, Jim. The last time Japan reached the semi-finals of this World Cup was in 2008. Who did they beat in the quarterfinal?
Half shot?
No choice. But look at the 2-9. Look at the possibility of a 2-9. I wonder if Oi considered that.
Stop the clock.
Vandenberg is.
Extension called.
This has been an epic contest. We could have a fitting conclusion.
He can play it in a way. He knows where the 2's going to go. If he lines it up and plays it in a way where he runs through with the cue ball, he shouldn't really leave the 2, even if he did miss the 9. But you almost have to take this on, given the circumstances. That's just how good Niels Fine's shot was. Wow, what a way for it to finish. 9 down, it's a 9-8 win for Holland. They're through where they meet Finland in the semifinals.
Well, for the last 15 minutes or so, the Dutch have looked so glum, and they're actually a great team and great personalities, these guys, as you're seeing now. But the Japanese have really bossed this arena, and their charisma has kind of taken over, and the Dutch just didn't know how to fight back. And then one small opening, and they've managed to jump into it. And Holland are through to the semi-finals where they'll play Finland. Japan did so well. They came from 8-5 down to hill, but in the end they couldn't win the final rack, and that was the most important one, which Holland have done. Still to come tonight, Hungary versus the Philippines, and England get another bite of the cherry when Chinese Taipei versus England A is our final match of the evening. Well, Ted Lerner's alongside me, incredible match. 8-5 down, it came back to hill, but in the end, the Dutch had one small opening, and that final shot wasn't easy, was it?
No, and sometimes that's all it takes. What's incredible about that is that everybody was sort of focused on the other end of the table, in which Naoki Oi just made a complete mess of the table. That was the only way out of that lockdown safety, and he had to foul. There was no other thing he could do, because if he would have tried to kick out of there, it would have messed up the whole table and could have left an opening. So he fouled, messed up the table, but there was that 2-9 combo, which was anything but a gimme. And you saw Nick Vandenberg concentrating, got down on that, and really thought that through. And there you see it right here. That was no gimme by any stretch of the imagination. That could have definitely gone wrong right there.
Yeah, the Dutch team took their time, they made sure they were happy with it, and it was a perfect couple of moments for Holland after 15, 20 minutes or so where they'd been so miserable. They're all smiles, they're all changed behind me now, but it was all the Japanese team, wasn't it, for the last 20 minutes or so?
Well, yeah, but that's pool for you. You only need one opening. And the thing about that shot, though, even though there was no guarantee there, what was a guarantee is that they were pretty much safe because the table was messed up at that one end, and there was no way that Japan could run out even if they had missed that 9-ball. But fortunately for Holland, what an incredible ending for them.
Quick word for the Japanese team. The way that they play with a smile on their faces, they're real jokers, and they won the hearts of this crowd here in Bethnal Green, didn't
Absolutely, and I think the only downside for everybody is that they're out of the tournament, and they're going to take that sort of personality with them because they lost, but we won't be able to see them again. But yeah, they really lit up this crowd, and I'm sure the audience at home as well. But good for Holland. They deserve it.
We come back at 6 o'clock with the upstarts, Hungary in action against the Philippines. Just put into perspective how big the game is in the Philippines and how big these Filipino stars are.
Well, you've got about 100 million Filipinos, the population of the country, and about 999 million of them are
Good math there, Ted. I'm not sure it all adds up. But
whatever it was. Yeah, they're all pool fans, okay? And incredible pressure on Orculio and Corteza. They know it. They have to come out here and just relax. Everybody expecting them back home to win. I think in their favor, they are heavily favored on paper. Also, I've seen them, they look a lot more relaxed here in London than I've seen them in the Philippines. And that's because I think they can sort of ignore the obvious pressure on them. Hungary, not so much pressure at all. They come in loose, playing great, total upstarts. I'm interested to see how they handle Team Philippines because on paper, Philippines heavily favored.
Ted, thanks very much indeed. We will look forward to the evening session. Hungary are the first team in action up against the Philippines, and then a little bit later on, England A. Can they win where England B couldn't do later on? They will be in action up against Chinese Taipei later on. We're on air at 6 o'clock. Well, the B team went out, but England get another bite of the cherry. The A team are in action this evening. We hope you'll join us at the York Hall from 6. See you then.
888.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool.